Today is my very first Feature Friday. Every Friday, I'm going to attempt to find a spiritual person or just a really great YouTuber and feature them on my channel to help them get noticed. There's this one spiritual YouTuber named Chad HOEFFLER. I really love the guy's videos, and I just want you guys to see him so that you can subscribe to his channel. I'll post the link just down there somewhere, and then you can go over there and subscribe to him. Thanks.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Hope everybody's day is getting off to a wonderful start, and I hope that your day is filled with absolute joy and laughter and love. Today I wanted to talk about karmic lineage or generational curses or whatever label you want to put on the things that are passed down from our parents and from their parents, and they could date back generations. And we often, when we go to a medical doctor, the doctor asks us, does your family have a history of diabetes or cancer or whatever it may be? And so right there should tell you mind, body, spirit, if they're asking about the body and generational happenings. Why wouldn't the mind, which you go to a psychologist and they ask you about mental health in your history, but they don't ask, or people don't think about spiritual karma that is passed down from generation to generation. And this is a huge topic for me at the moment, because some of these things are surfacing in my daughter, and it's causing a lot of grief and a lot of heartache and a lot of unanswered questions. So getting into that, it's really, if you're going through something and you can't really explain it and you can't really put your finger on it, when you sit with yourself, start to think about your parents and all the unhealed trauma that they had when you were born and created in this world, in this physical manifestation. Think about the trauma that was passed to your parents, that unhealed trauma that your grandparents passed to your children, or their children, your parents, and then in turn again passed down to you. And we're so unconscious of the fact that these things can occur, and we do it with mental and we do it with physical, but never spiritual. And what a disservice we're doing, and it's leaving us so much more lost, because now we do feel fucking crazy, because I don't understand why I feel this way. I haven't done any, nothing's occurred to make me feel this way. Nothing in my life. And we limit ourselves to just our current manifestation, but these things are passed down and passed down. And so with these things surfacing in my daughter, I really started to dive within, and the three women that I parent with, we all started looking for answers anywhere and everywhere, because these things are really heavy. And one of the destinations we ended up to get answers is I met with my biological father. And if you know anything about my past, Jim is my biological father, and he had me when he was 19, and he left the picture when I was 5. Him and I were really tight at the time when I was young, and then he made some decisions that affected obviously him and me. And so I sat down and met with him last week, and this was the first time that I had sat down to talk with him and to ask questions and to find answers. And I had reconnected with him probably 10 years ago, just very small talk oriented conversations. We had ran into each other here and there in different places because we lived in the same town for a while, but never really sat down to ask him, what the fuck happened. And so with all this stuff surfacing, I sat down with him, and he was really beating himself up and really uh, being harsh on himself. And I don't know why I would do that. I can't justify my actions. And just popped into my head is like, how was your relationship with your father? And come to find out, his father ghosted him too. So there's his justification. No, not justification that it's right, but just an answer that you can lean on, that those things are passed down to you, and those things roll over. Those unhealed traumas roll over into the kid's life, and to the grandkid's life, and then the great grandkid's life. All this unhealed trauma that is passed down through your ancestral lineage can surface and cause so much confusion. And I think that's really what is going on, and why a big part of why we now are so confused and so lost is because we're living pure lives, but all these dark things are still occurring in our lives, and we have no fucking clue of events or happenings that are triggering these, and we're just shaking our head and feeling like we're crazy, but we're not. We just have to understand that, just like medical things, just like mental things, spiritual trauma and soul trauma is passed down, just like diabetes, just like depression, just like many things. All three aspects of being are, traumas passed down. If and they're not addressed, they can make you feel crazy as fuck. So sat down with Jim and had a wonderful conversation, and just forgave him. And I forgave him a long time ago, and I think why I don't really have a lot of unhealed trauma around that, because I knew he was young, and I knew what that entailed. And for a 19-year-old kid, no, I'm not dismissing it or saying it's okay, don't get me wrong, but I can have compassion and understand that chasing women and and things when you're young is part of the plan, and it's difficult, and the fast life is the easy path, and it's exciting and it's fun. But so recognizing that, and having compassion for that situation allowed me to forgive him a long time ago, before I even had that sit down talk. So Jim, if you see this, man, be gentle on yourself, forgive yourself, because you may not realize it, but that shit was passed down to you, and you need to forgive yourself, and you need to forgive your father, and understand that we all have dark happenings in our past, and we all have things we regret, but forgiveness is the key to salvation, and the key back into spiritual and mental health. So forgive yourself, forgive the generations that come before you. Sit and feel into the ancestral lineage, and call upon the things that are unhealed, and you can heal those through calling them in and asking God to bring those into fruition in meditation or in consciousness, whatever. And again, labels of consciousness and God to me are the same thing, but bring in the pure consciousness, and call those events and those traumas in, and you can feel into them and then release them, and then in turn healing generations and generations. And I think the people that are here on this earth now, and these generations coming up, are warriors of the light, and we are here to break those curses and those years and generations and decades of unconscious living, and just going through the motions and not being in touch with our souls. And I had a really wonderful conversation with James, a good friend of mine, and he kind of pointed out that our parents raised us tough, spanking us, and we grew up living paycheck to paycheck, and we didn't live in abundance. So now when we have children, we are trying to be that child's friend. You know, we went too far the other way, and you know, now we're not punishing these kids, and we're giving them everything they want. And it's basically, we have flipped to be the complete opposite, because you know, the out of balance in the one generation flipped to the out of balance on the complete opposite end of the spectrum in the next generation. So we're here to bring balance back into the world and shine our light and be authentic. And what a beautiful time that we live in. And it's very painful, and it can be very confusing, but if you are able to sit still enough to call these things in and ask your guides, your spirit guides, you always have spirit guides around you that are willing to help you, and that will show you the way if you will listen and you will keep a watchful eye for the signs. And your path will illuminate with the help of these guides, and with the belief in yourself and the belief in greater. So call these things in, feel them, release them, and heal your family. And just stay tuned, because we are ushering in a new beautiful way. And when I say that, people are like, what is this fucking dude talking about? But I feel it in my heart. Times may get darker before they get better, but they're going to get better. And we are here for a reason. Now, moving into an age of awakening, we have manifested on this earth to heal generations of trauma, and it's time to put in work. So I love you guys. I hope you guys have an absolutely magical weekend of love and forgiveness and compassion and empathy and joy and all the good shit that you can feel. I hope that you feel it, and I hope it's a healing weekend. I love you guys. I'll see you later.